Good morning, my brothers and sisters. There's this iconic scene in the movie Jaws when Roy Schneider, who's playing the police chief, Martin Brody, when he finally gets a view of the shark and he says, "We're going to need a bigger boat." So when we see ourselves in comparison or in relation to God, we measure very small, very humble, unworthy, silenced even. So in the same sense, we're going to need a bigger boat. So today, let's be struck. Let's be struck that God has his mind full of us, even just a little bit full of us. So it's a wonder that I or you or us fall under the purview of God the Almighty. But he's designed us, he's created us, he's placed us specifically into place and time. So David in Psalm 8 here asks the dear Lord, how is it that you think and care for us? Why am I on the menu of your mind? Of all the greatness that you have before you, how is it that your eye is upon me? This is Psalm 8, verse 3 and 4. When I look at your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place, what is man that you are mindful of him, and the son of man that you care for him? In other words, he's asking, I'm going to need a bigger boat. So who else has thought this way in the wonderful scriptures? I was thinking about the other people who have had a similar sentiment. Well, first came to mind was the centurion in Matthew chapter 8. So when Jesus entered Capernaum, a centurion came forward appealing to him, "Lord, my servant is lying paralyzed at home, suffering terribly." And he said to him, "I will come and see him and heal him," Jesus said. But the centurion replied, "Lord, I am not worthy to have you come under my roof, but only say the word and my servant shall be healed." So he has this beautiful posture of humility. We're going to need a bigger boat. Or Bildad in the book of Job, who notes rightly, he says that man is a maggot, a worm, certainly in comparison to the grandeur of God. We're going to need a bigger boat. Or of Job himself in Job 7:17, a beautiful passage. What is man that you make so much of him, that you set your heart upon him? Visit him every morning and test him every moment. So wait, Lord, you are so very here, so in your face. You visit, you set your heart on us. You interact to the point of testing. You have made much of us. The least we can do is make much of you. We're going to need a bigger boat. Or how about Solomon at the opening of the temple in Jerusalem as he prays in 1 Kings chapter 8? He asks in verse 27, "But will God indeed dwell on the earth? Behold, heaven and the highest heaven cannot contain you. How much less this house that I have built, this temple that I have built? Yet have regard to the prayer of your servant and to his plea, O Lord my God, listening to the cry and to the prayer that your servant prays before you this day." So, Lord, will you have regard? Can we expect or even hope for your attention? What happens when we get your attention? We're going to need a bigger boat. Or later in Proverbs 8, it says that rejoicing in his inhabited world and delighting in the children of man. We hear that the Lord is rejoicing in this world. We're going to need a bigger boat. We're like Isaiah as he was given this vision of God in chapter 6 of Isaiah. And he sees the seraphim and one of them calling to another saying, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory." And I said, "Woe is me, I am lost. I am a man of unclean lips. I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips, for my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts." So I think a certain amount of woe is me. Who am I? Who are my people? We're going to need a bigger boat. Yet, God visits. God is mindful. God cares. So this is the great paradox that's mentioned in Psalm 8, this great tension. We have this great God who is so near. We have majesty enthroned who visits us. We have perfection who comes and speaks and to test us. We have God rejoicing and delighting in the children of man, and our response, we're going to need a bigger boat. So many have felt this before. Job, David, Solomon, Bildad. If you feel like a speck, you are in good company. The last verse I want to point out is from Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 14. Sing aloud, O daughter Zion. Shout, O Israel. Rejoice and exult with all your heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. Then verse 17. The Lord your God is in your midst, a mighty one who will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you by his love. He will exult over you with loud singing. So we sing, children of the Lord, because of what he does. He rejoices over us with gladness. He quiets us with his love. He exults over us with singing. In other words, we sing because he sings over us. We're going to need a bigger boat. So in conclusion, may the Lord visit you this morning on this day. May the Lord be so close as to talk to you and to test you. May you see that the Lord has set his heart upon you. May you appreciate that the Lord has made much of you. You have made much of us. The least we can do is make much of you. We are going to need a bigger boat.